How to crochet a heart pendant.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to make one of these adorable crochet heart pendants to wear on a necklace. You're going to need a 16-inch necklace chain. You could either buy one in the jewelry department. I've even found it in a craft store in the craft department for when you're making necklaces. You're going to need a 1/4-inch jump ring. You're going to need a size 2 or C2 or 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. You're also going to need a very small amount of fiber fill or polyfill, and this is stuffing if you were making stuffed animals or pillows or what have you. This is way more than you'll need. This is probably enough to make 10 or 15 of these heart pendants. We're going to use a very small amount. And you're also going to need some yarn. In today's video and also in these samples, I've been using Be So Fine yarn, which is my 100% bamboo fingering weight yarn that is all hand dyed. These are some of the semi-solid colors from Crushed Berries, Tropical Hot Coral, Passionate Plum, Parisian Bordeaux, and Million Dollar Red. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you one of the hand-painted variegated yarns that I use called Cranberry Frost. Let's get started. For each of the pendants, we will be making 2 hearts, one for the front and one for the back. And then after that, I will show you how to stuff them, join them together, and to create the final pendant. So we're going to start by tying our yarn onto our crochet hook. You can tie it in any technique that you prefer. I like to do a regular knot. Okay, we're going to start with a chain 4. And then we're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from our hook. Yarn over your hook, insert your hook in the 4th chain from the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That chain 3 that we skipped counts as our first double crochet, so this is now our second double crochet. We need a total of 9 in that same chain. Okay, so we've got 9 total double crochets in that 4th chain from our hook, and now we're going to do a chain 3 picot, and that's a chain 3, and then slip stitch into the 3rd chain from your hook, and then we're going to work 3 more double crochets in that original chain. Yarn over, insert your hook in the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2 more. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round to join. Okay, our first round is complete. We have 12 double crochets in our round and a tiny little picot over here. Okay, so now the second round begins with 5 treble stitches in the next stitch. So in that next stitch, we're going to work 5 trebles. A treble is yarn over twice, insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll now do that 4 more times in the same stitch. Okay, so we have 5 treble stitches in that same stitch. We want to skip the next stitch, but before the stitch after that, we're going to slip stitch into the space between the 2 stitches. Okay, then we're going to skip the next stitch and work 5 trebles in the very next stitch. Yarn over twice, insert your hook into that stitch that we called out, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to work 4 more treble stitches into that same stitch. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch in the very next stitch. Okay, we're ready to fasten off. Grab my scissors. Make sure you leave the tail really nice and long because we're going to use those tails for sewing our hearts together. It'll be one less string to have to join and weave in at the end. So there we have it. This is our first heart. And now you want to make two of it. And so when you have two hearts, both with a long tail, I'll show you how to stuff it and assemble it. Okay, I've got two hearts ready to go now. And before we start assembling them, I wanted to take a little bit of the fiber fill and roll it into tiny little balls. I'm going to make the balls approximately 1/4 of an inch in diameter each, so really tiny, like the size of a pea. And you're going to take a little bit of the fiber fill and just roll it into your hands. We want to make it a little on the dense side. We don't want the fuzzies coming out of the heart. See, that's even too big. So I'm going to cut that in half and keep rolling. That's the size I'm going for. Really, really teeny. And we're going to need 3 of those. Okay, so we have our little stuffing balls ready to go, and now you want to take your 2 hearts and you want to make sure that the right sides are facing out. So this is the right sides. We're going to put it on the bottom touching my fingers, and this is the right size facing up for the second piece. So we want the wrong sides touching each other like that. So if you turn it to the front and back, we have a sandwich of 2 hearts with the right side facing out on both of them. So now we're ready to start sewing. And what I'm going to do, so this one has a tail on this side and this one has a tail on this side, which is going to work perfectly for us right now. Because what I'm going to do is take the first tail and I'm going to sew between both pieces until we get to the center, then sew the jump ring into the center, then continue on to sew with that tail, fasten off here, pick up the second tail, and work all the way around the bottom. So we're going to start by grabbing a yarn needle. Thread our yarn onto the needle. And we're going to start by sewing through both thicknesses and securing with a little knot. So now I want to work through both thicknesses around the first hump of the top of the hearts. And I'm working in an up and down motion because I really think it's pretty to have that outer edge of the sandwich of the tops of the stitches. I think it's very pretty, and I'm sewing this way for that decorative benefit. Okay, now as soon as I get to the little valley in between the 2 humps of the heart, I'm going to add my jump ring. So I'm going to slide the jump ring right onto my knitting needle or my yarn needle and secure it with a little knot. Whoops, nope, I pull it through, hold on. Here we go. So now we're going to go back through the same spot on the hearts and go back through the jump ring and then knot it down in place like that. And we'll do that one more time. Pull through the yarn and the jump ring, then pull through a second time on the loop so we knot it into place like that. And now we're going to continue on sewing in the same fashion across the second hump of the 2 hearts. Make sure that you're working through both thicknesses, the heart that's on top facing you and the heart that's on bottom resting on your fingers. And as soon as we reach the opposite side where the second tail is, we're going to tie a knot to fasten this one off, and then we'll weave in our tail through the center of the heart, or the center of the hearts, and we can cut that one off. Okay, so now we'll take our yarn needle. So now the 2 humps of the hearts are joined and the jump ring is joined. The only thing left unjoined are the bottoms of the 2 hearts. So we'll thread our yarn from the second tail onto our yarn needle, and then we're going to stuff these little balls into the heart. We're going to use one each into the humps, and if you need something dull to help stick it up there, you can use the crochet hook. You might even want a bigger crochet hook so you have a duller surface for stuffing in there. Okay, I've got one. I'm going to grab the second little ball of fiber fill and stuff it into the second hump of the heart, like that. And then we'll stick the third one into the center of the heart, which would be center placed right in between the two other balls that we already filled in. And now we're going to continue on and sew through both. We're going to start with a knot to secure it, since this is the first time we're joining to both hearts. It was just a tail before that. And we're going to sew through both thicknesses in the same fashion that we sewed through the top half of the two hearts. When I make it down to the bottom here, I'm going to skip the picots. I like leaving them completely uninvolved in the sewing. We're just going to sew through the bottom of the two hearts, skipping the two picots. Whoops, lost my tail. And once we reach all the way to the other side, I'm going to tie a knot to fasten this one off and weave in our ends into the middle of the heart. Now, if you were able to find fiber fill that actually matches your hearts, it's wonderful. And in a perfect world, we're always going to find filling that matches our yarn, right? In a pinch, if you can't find something that's invisible in there, you can take a Sharpie or any type of permanent marker and you can spot see these spots of white? I could use a coral or a raspberry or a pink Sharpie and cover those up. And that's what I've done on the other hearts here, so I can show you. I used a red Sharpie to cover some of the white spots on this one. I used a burgundy on this one, I used a purple on this one, and you can see you can't see the fiber fill anymore. So it was a really great fix because I didn't have anything perfect close by. If you do, wonderful. If you don't, the Sharpies worked really well for blending the contrast between the fiber fill and the hand-dyed yarn. If you have any questions, please leave me your comments. Please go to my website. The link will be below in the video description so you can follow side by side with all of my instructions to make these beautiful little hearts. There'll also be information on the yarn, Be So Fine.
Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.